Good morning students. So this is class 12th physics and I'll be discussing the assignment solution of chapter number 4 and 5. So let us begin with the first question. Okay, so the first question says a rectangular loop of wire is there, okay, and it carries a current of 2 ampere in clockwise direction. It is placed near a wire which carries a current of 5 ampere. Okay, the distance between this and this position is 1 centimeters. The length of the loop is 10 centimeter and the breadth is 4 centimeter. Okay, so in first part you have to calculate the torque acting on the loop. Okay, so the torque is mb sine theta. Now due to this wire there will be magnetic field on this loop. So you can use your right hand thumb rule and you can easily tell if the current is in upward direction, the magnetic field will comes to be in downward direction. So that means on this loop a magnetic field is acting in downward direction, which I have shown by the cross. Okay, and if you calculate the direction of magnetic moment for this loop, that will come to be in downward direction, right? That means the angle between M and B is 0 degrees. Therefore, the torque will come to be 0. In the second part, you have to calculate the magnitude and the direction of force on the loop due to the current carrying wire. Okay, so this loop has 4 sides, right? Now, see, on this side and on this side, force will be equal and opposite. So for these two sides, force will be cancelled out. Now we will talk about these two sides. So let us say this is side number 1 and this is side number 2. So these are two parallel wires. So for side number 1, the formula will be mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2 by R into L, because this is the formula of force per unit length. I am calculating force, so I am multiplying it by L as well. Okay, so I1 and I2 are 5 and 2, so that will be 10. R is given to be 1 centimeters and L is your 10 centimeter, right? So this is your F1 and obviously it will be towards left. To see the direction, you can use your right hand palm rule. Okay, similarly you can calculate F2, that is acting on this. Everything is same except R. For this one, R will become 1 plus 4, that is 5. So this force will come towards right. Okay, so net force will be F1 minus F2. So just subtract them and you will get the answer to be 160 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton towards left, because obviously F1 is greater and F1 is towards left. So overall will also be towards left. Okay, so the second question says you have a rectangular loop again and a wire is placed in I1 current is flowing in the wire in this direction. Okay, and I current is flowing in this loop. Okay, so again you have to calculate the force on this loop. Okay, so again for this side and for this side, force will be equal and opposite, so that will cancel out. Now let us talk about these two sides. So mark it 1 and 2 as we did earlier. Calculate F1 and F2, just same method as we have did earlier. Then F1 minus F2, you will get the answer to be mu naught upon 4 pi I1 and it will be overall in upward direction. Okay. Okay, so the third question says a circular coil of 200 turns and radius 10 centimeter is placed in a uniform magnetic field of 0.5 Tesla normal to the plane of coil. That is, let us suppose if these are magnetic field lines, then this coil is placed perpendicularly to the magnetic field lines. Okay, so you have to, and current in the coil is given to be 3 amperes. There are 3 parts of the question. The first part says calculate the torque acting on the loop. Again, the formula of the torque is mb sine theta. Okay, if this is B and if you take the, and as you know, the magnetic moment is also perpendicular to the coil. So if we find out magnetic moment for this coil, that will either be parallel or anti-parallel depending on the direction of current. Okay, so in both the cases, torque will come to be 0, right? Second part says, what is the total force on the coil? Okay, so as you know, the formula of the force is Ni into L cross B, where N is number of turns. Okay, so from here, you know B, you know I and you know L. So we can calculate F force per unit length, that will come to be 300 from here. But we can consider many segments of this coil, that means we can consider small segments. For each segment, F will come to be equal and opposite in direction. For example, see if current is like this. If let us suppose current is like this, that is it is flowing in anti-clockwise direction. Okay, then for this half segment and for this half segment, force will come to be equal and opposite. Therefore, the overall force will come to be 0 again. Okay. Okay, so the third part says average force on the, what is the average force on each electron in the coil due to magnetic field? Okay, so area of cross section of the wire is given to be 10 to the power minus 5 and free electron density is given to be 10 to the power 29. Okay, so see the area is 10 to the power minus 5 meter square and electron density is electrons per unit volume, right? So now if I want to calculate number of electrons in 1 meter length, that will be equal to area of cross section into number density of electrons, because see the units, when you will cancel them out, you will get number of electrons per unit length. So these are the number of electrons in unit length, 10 to the power 24. Okay, so as we have just calculated, force per unit length on the loop is this. So for 10 to the power 24 electrons, the force per unit length is 300. But we want to calculate the total force on one electron only. So just use unitary method. On these electrons, this much force is acting. So on one electron, 300 upon 10 to the power 24 force will act. So the answer will come to be 3 into 10 to the power minus 22 newtons. Okay, in fourth question, a galvanometer is there whose resistance is 12 ohms and the current for full scale deflection is 2.5 milliampere. So it is asked what you can do to convert it into an emitter of range 0 to 7.5 meters. So I is given to be 7.5 meter. Now you know to convert a galvanometer into a emitter, we have to apply a resistance in series. So let us calculate that, a resistance in parallel. So let us calculate that formula, which is S is equals to GIG upon I minus IG. This you have done in your theory lectures. So just put all the values G, Ig upon I minus Ig. So you will get the answer to be 6 ohms. Okay. So to convert it into a voltmeter of range 0 to 10 volts, again we will connect a resistance in series and it is high resistance. So just use the formula R is equals to V upon Ig minus G. You know each and everything. So you will get the answer to be 3988 ohms. Okay, so the question number 5 says, when you connect emitter in a circuit, does it read slightly less or slightly more reading? See, although emitter is a very low resistance device, but it has some resistance due to which the overall resistance in the circuit increases slightly. So as you know, if the resistance increases, that means current will decrease slightly. Therefore, emitter reads slightly less current. Okay, due to a small increase in resistance because emitter also has some resistance. Okay, so the next is question number 6. Question number 6 says, a straight wire of length pi by 2 is bent into a circular shape and it carries a current of 5 amperes. Okay, so if it has a length of pi by 2, you can calculate the radius of the circular loop. So that means 2 pi r is pi by 2. Pi will cancel out. From here r will come to be 1 by 4 meters. Okay, and it is given it is asked that calculate the magnetic field due to it before bending at a point distant 0.01 times the radius of the circle. So length is 0.01 times the radius of the circle. So this is the length. So in the first part, to calculate magnetic field, we will just use the formula mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I1 I2, mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I by R, because we have to just calculate the magnetic field due to a wire. So just simply formula is used. And here your R is this, or you can say your length from the point and the wire is this, that is 0.01 upon 4. Okay, so solve it, you will get this answer. In second part, you have to calculate the magnetic field at the center of the circular loop for the same value of current. So as you know, the magnetic field at the center of a circular loop is mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi I by R. Again you know each and everything, and radius of the loop is 1 by 4 as we have calculated. Just again put the values and you will get this answer. Okay. Okay, so the next is question number 7. It says there is a PQ wire which carries a current of 75 amperes and there is a XY wire which is at a distance of 5 millimeters. So you have to calculate the magnitude and direction of I such that the magnetic repulsion between these wires balances the weight of XY. Okay, so first of all, let us see the direction. Okay, so for that, you know, in this the current is in this direction. So if you use your right hand thumb rule, that will give you the direction of magnetic field due to this wire in upward direction. So these dots are showing you the direction of magnetic field in upward direction. Now you have to tell the direction of current such that there is a magnetic repulsion between them. So as you know, if two wires carries current in same direction, they attract each other. So to get a magnetic repulsion between them, the current should be in opposite direction. So the current will be from Y to X. Okay, so now the force of repulsion between them will be mu naught upon 4 pi to I1, that is 75, I2, that is I upon R, that is 5 millimeter, that is 5 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. So this is force per unit length. This should be equal to the weight of XY. So that is m dash g. So m dash is given in question is mass per unit length. So I am taking m dash g because see, this is force per unit length, this is mass per unit length. So length will cancel out from both the sides automatically, right? So m dash is given to be 10 to the power minus 2 and g is given to be 10. And you know all the values of these constants. So from here you will get the value of I to be 33 amperes. Okay, so in the 8th question, again a wire is there and an electron is moving from A to B with the speed of 10 to the power 5 meter per second. Then you have to calculate the magnitude of force on this electron. Okay, so as you know, force is given by Q into V cross B. Okay, so due to this direction of current, magnetic field will come to be in upward direction, which is shown by these dots. So that means, and V is from A to B, that means the angle between V and B is 90 degree. So F will be QVB. Now we know Q, that is charge of electron, we know its velocity. So to calculate magnetic field, we will use the formula of magnetic field due to a wire, that is mu naught upon 4 pi 2 I by A, right? So just solve it, you will get the magnetic field due to wire and then put it here. So F will be QVB. Okay, solve it, the answer will come to be 0.8 into 10 to the power minus 9 Newton towards wires, because electron is a negative charge, so it will be towards wire. Okay, you can use your right hand thumb rule, right hand palm rule to confirm it. Okay. Okay, so the question number 9 says, find the force on a wire of length 4 cm placed inside a solenoid near its center, making an angle of 60 degree with its axis. The wire carries a current of 12 ampere and magnetic field due to the solenoid has a magnitude of 0.25 Tesla. So now you know the force on the wire is given by I into L cross B, that is ILB sin theta. Value of each term is given to you already in the question. So this is just a formula based question. Put the values and you will get the answer to be 0.104 newtons. Okay. Okay, so the next is question number 10. It says a voltmeter reads 5 volt at full scale deflection, that is Vg is given to be 5 volts and is graded according to its resistance per volt at full scale deflection as 2000 ohm per volt. That is, at full scale deflection R by V is given to be this much. So from here you can calculate Ig, that is current for full scale deflection, that is V by R, that will come to be 1 by 2000. Okay. So you have to calculate how can you convert it into a voltmeter which reads 15 volt at full scale deflection. So V is 15 volt, that is the range of converted voltmeter. So first of all, let us calculate the resistance of galvanometer. As you know, Vg is Gig. So G will be Vg upon Ig. So Vg is 5 and Ig is 1 by 2000. So your resistance of galvanometer will come to be 10,000 ohms. So to convert it into a voltmeter, we have to connect a higher resistance in series whose formula is V upon Ig minus G. Now you have all the values, put in them and you will get the value to be 2 into 10 to the power 4 ohms. Okay, so next is question number 11. It says, if in a galvanometer there is a deflection of 10 divisions per milliampere, That is, for 1 milliampere, we have 10 divisions. And as you know, small k is current for 1 division deflection. So from this information, we can calculate k. For 1 milliampere, we have 10 divisions. So now you can easily calculate what will be the current for 1 division. That will come to be 1 by 10 milliampere. So this is our k. Okay. Then the question says the internal resistance of the galvanometer is 78 ohms. If a shunt of 2 ohm is connected to the galvanometer and there are 75 deflections in it, that is, we have connected a shunt that is 2 ohm. Shunt means a resistance which is connected in parallel to the galvanometer. Okay. So, and it has 75 divisions on the scale. So from here you can calculate Ig, that is current for full scale deflection, because see Ig, or you can understand it like this, K is the current for 1 division. So, and Ig is full scale deflection, and total we have 75 deflections. So we are calculating current for 75 divisions. Current for 1 division is 1 by 10. So current for 75 divisions will be 75 into 1 by 10. So this is our current for full scale deflection, that is 7.5 milliampere. Okay, so now you have to calculate the range of this converted emitter, that is you have to calculate I, and as you know R is dIg upon I minus Ig. You have all the values, just calculate the value of I from here. It will come to be 0.3 amperes. Okay. Okay students, so question number 12 is wrong question. There is a mistake in that question, so do not do that question, leave it. So let us discuss now question number 13. So in question number 13, it is given an electron travels in a circular path of 20 centimeter in this much magnetic field. Then you have to calculate the velocity of the electron. So it is very easy. So V is QBR by M, as you have did, because you know force due to magnetic field provides centripetal force. So just by that we get V is equals to QBR by M, and from here velocity will come to be this much. Okay. After that it is asking what is the potential difference through which the electron must be accelerated. So as you know, kinetic energy of the electron is given by EV. So you have V from here, you know M, you know E, so you can calculate the potential from here. Okay. Okay, so the next is question number 14. In that you are given magnetic moment and moment of inertia, and frequency is also given 10 oscillations in 6.7 seconds. So frequency is oscillation per second. From here let us calculate time period, that is inverse of frequency, so that is 6.7 upon 10. So time will come to be 0.67 seconds. Okay, so you have studied a formula for time period in your theory lectures, that is T is equals to 2 pi under root I by MB in terms of moment of inertia. So now you have I, you have M, you have you have I, you have M, and you know the value of T also. So you can calculate the value of magnetic field, that will come to be 0.01 Tesla. Okay. Okay, so the next is question number 5. It says a circular coil has 100 number of turns and effective radius of 5 centimeter, that is 0.05 meters. Current is given to be 0.1 amperes and magnetic field is this much. So it is asked what is the work done to rotate it through an angle of 180 degree about an axis perpendicular to magnetic field. So that is theta 2 is 180 degree. And it is also given the plane of coil is initially perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, so these thetas are angle between M and B. So if the coil is initially perpendicular to the magnetic field, that means initially the angle between M and B is 0 degree. So theta 1 is 0 degrees. So just use the formula of potential energy because it is stored as the work done. So that is minus mb cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. And you can calculate magnetic moment easily by the formula NIA. So put it here, you will get the answer of work done to be 0.24 joules. Okay, so the next is question number 16. In that it is given you have two magnets and they are kept like this. That is, north of one magnet is touching south of another magnet. Both are of length L and magnetic moment M. Then you have to calculate the total magnetic moment of the system. Now clearly see, when you join them, it becomes one magnet. This is the north pole of this magnet and this is the south pole of this magnet. So you can say now this magnet has length this, because this is the north pole, this is the south pole. So let us calculate N2S first. So N2S1 will be nothing but under root of, by Pythagoras theorem, under root of L square plus L square. So that will come to be root 2L. Now you know magnetic moment is given by pole strength into length, that is M into root 2L. So root 2 ml is the total magnetic moment of the system. Okay, so the question number 17 says the electron in a hydrogen atom is moving with this much speed and this much radius. Okay, so angstrom means 10 to the power minus 10 meter. Then you have to calculate the magnetic moment of revolving electron. So the formula of magnetic moment is Ia. For that we need to calculate current, which is Q by T, and time is nothing but distance upon speed. So we have everything EV and R. So calculate current from here. Then put the value of current and area, that is pi r square here. You will get this value of magnetic moment. Okay. Okay, so the last question is question number 18. In that you are given permeability of the material, that is 400, current to be 2 amperes. See, in your third part, it is asked to calculate intensity of magnetization, which is denoted by I. So therefore I am using current to be I dash, that is 2 amperes. Okay, and number of turns per unit length is 1000. So for first part you have to calculate H. So as you have studied, the formula of H is Ni, that is I dash, because I dash is the current here. So just put the values, you will get this answer. Similarly for B, you know the formula mu H, and mu is mu naught mu R. You know again all the values, put it, you will get 1 Tesla. In third part, you have to calculate intensity of magnetization. So you know the formula B is equals to mu naught into H plus I. Again, you have all the values. So calculate intensity of magnetization from here. Okay. In D part, you have to calculate the current due to magnetization. As I have told you, the total current in any device is equals to B naught plus Bm. This you have studied in your theory lecture. So this comes to be mu naught n I dash plus Im, where I dash is your normal current and Im is the current due to magnetization. So from here calculate Im, that will come to be 794 amperes.